right, guys, check this out. Today we're going to be having a look at the Wolfang GA120 budget action camera. This is coming in under $60. So you may ask yourself, you know what can I get for an action camera under $60? Is it going to be any good? Well, you're going to find out right here. All right, let's see what's included in the box with the GA120. Open that up. We're getting a user manual, quick start guide. We've got the GA120, a couple batteries. We'll get to those in a moment. We've got a big box of accessories here. Let's check those out. Dump that out. Let's see what's all included there. All right, quite a bit of stuff. You've got your camera cage. You've got a spare back door for the waterproof case that's included. External microphone. Strap, that'll be for the remote here. And a bunch of other different mounts and accessories here. They've got you covered, tripod mounts. They've got you covered, guys. There's your charging cable right there. It's going to be your standard USB on one end and Type-C USB on the other end. So that's nice, plenty of gear there. Let's pull the box back in. You're getting two batteries with the GA120. These are one cell, 1050 milliamp hour batteries, and they charge up in the camera with the cable to charge that up. All right, the GA120 waterproof case, guys. It's got a dual locking system here, so you've got this little slider right there, and then you're going to pull up. So slide it over, pull up from the front, actually, like that. More times, so see it's locked in place. You got to slide that over, and it's not hard. Slide, pop up, and there we go. And pull that off. So you can see the door right here. Showed you that. That's a spare one that they include with it. Very nice. All right, guys, so as I mentioned, just took a road trip from Vancouver, Canada down to Hollywood, California. Brought the GA120 along with me, and to be honest with you guys, I was very hesitant while I was down there to even open it up and give it a shot. It took me to the very last day where we were visiting Hollywood. We ended up down at Santa Monica Pier, where I actually tore into the GA120 and gave it a proper test. Now, the reason being is I didn't want to have a bad experience with the camera while I was down there. I had not even powered this one up or even opened the box before getting down there. It was actually the last thing I threw in the bag before we left. But I can tell you this, guys, I'm glad I did. For a sub $60 action camera, I was very impressed with how this one performed. So let's have a closer look at the GA120, and then we're going to get into some of the footage I took. So on the front here, it's got a 170-degree field of view. We've got dual screens. You got your front screen, your back screen there. Got our power button, which is also our menu button on the top, and our OK button, which is also the shutter button. On the side here is how you scroll through the selections. On the side here, we have our HDMI output. You have your charging port and your micro SD card slot. This is recommended to use U3 16 to 128 gig micro SD cards. I'm going to get one in there right now. Spring loaded, pops in, you're good to go. Now, the battery compartment is on the underside. You've got a little door that slides open. Slide that. It's on a hinge. You can throw your battery in. Closes up nice. And we might as well power it up, so let's do that. Power button. Now, powers up quickly. Now, to get through the menu, guys, we're going to actually have a quick look at the menu here. So, the menu button is your power button. Right there, it changes the photo. Hit the power button again, or the menu button. There's all my files. If you want to, now these are all my video files. If we wanted to scroll through them, we could scroll through them, hit OK. You can watch back your footage. And we've got some good footage here. This is from the Santa Monica Pier. I'll show you some of that in a minute. Let's get out of there. We hit OK again, I believe, or actually power button again. There we go. Now if we hit that power button, I'm going to keep referring to it as a power button because that's just what it is. There we go. That's going to be some of the photos I took there. We took a bunch of photos. You can just scroll through them. Hitting that menu button, and there we go. Brings us into the video settings now. So, video resolution. You've got 720 at 120 frames per second, 1080 at 30 frames per second, 1080 at 60, 2.7K at 30, and 4K at 30 frames per second. I was doing all my filming at 1080 at 60 frames per second. So let's hit that. EIS is currently off. Turn that on. Loop recording on or off. Microphone, built-in microphone or external microphone. And as I mentioned, you do get the external mic with it. So keep it on built-in. Time-lapse video. If you wanted to film a time-lapse, you would just go into the video settings here, and then you can just set it up. I have it currently set for off because we're just doing just normal video, but if you wanted to use time-lapse, you got your selections from 1 second all the way up to 60 seconds. Alright, slow motion, same thing. Slow motion's off, but if you wanted to film in slow motion, you could do it there at 1080 or 720. And audio record, on or off. So if you want to record the audio, you're going to have it on. If you don't, keep it off. Alright, next settings, photo resolution. So we just hit that menu button again, took us over to the photo settings. Photo resolution 20, 16, 12, or 8 megapixels. So we had it set on 20 for all our pictures, and we're going to keep it at that. Countdown. You've got a 2-second or a 10-second countdown. You want to set that up. Burst photo, on or off. 5 photos or 3 photo setting. That's all the settings for the photos there. So we're going to hit our menu button again, and that's going to take us to the general settings. So your volume, your beep on or off. You can change your exposure. You've got your white balance. I have it set for auto. ISO set for auto. Effects. You got your different effects there: negative, black and white, sepia. I have it on normal. Contrast, saturation, sharpness. A lot of settings there. All your general settings you expect to see. I have the volume set at 7. We can turn that up to there, up to 10. And we're going to hit that menu button again. This is going to take us over to our system settings. So language, got all different languages: English, French, Dutch, Italian, Spanish, Slovakian, Polish. These are only a few. Portuguese. A lot of different languages there. Car mode, on or off. Power off. So you can have automatic power off after 1 minute or 5 minutes if it's not being used. I have it set for off. Date time, your date format. You can turn your date stamp on or off. I have it set for off. Your frequency, upside down. So if you're filming upside down with the camera, you would just turn that to on. I have it set for off because the camera's right side up. Screensaver, you can have it at off. 30 seconds, 1 minute, or 3 minutes. I have it set for 1 minute. Format your SD card. I'm going to go no because I don't want to lose the footage. You can reset the camera. There's the version right there. So they've got their website there, the GA120 brand, Wolfang. So all their support information, that is good. And that's it there, guys. So we're going to hit the menu button one more time. And now it says press the shutter button to exit. And that's going to take us back to video mode there. All right, first time testing out the GA120 was on Hollywood Boulevard, filming in 1080, 60 frames per second. Electronic image stabilization is turned on. Now, even though there is a bit of a shake here, I still would consider this usable footage, especially compared to other cameras within this price range. Now, the nice thing that my editing software has is it has a stabilization feature. So I ran this same clip through that stabilization feature, and you're going to see that right now. And you're going to notice, paired with the stabilization of the GA120, it actually looks pretty good, not bad at all. Pretty much took all the shake out of that video. So I thought I'd include that. I made a video last summer showing how that works with my editing software, so I'll leave a card above for that right now if you want to check that out. Now, the next clip after this is all the Santa Monica Pier, and it's all raw footage, guys. I didn't do any stabilization editing. This is strictly what the GA120 has to offer for stabilization, for sound, as well as for picture quality. So One thing you're going to notice here is I do capture the sun directly in frame a few times, and it actually turns out all right. I was expecting it to be overexposed, or even sometimes that sun will have a black, it'll look like a black dot in the sky. It actually turned out pretty good, not bad at all. And even with the wind blowing, it doesn't take away from the other noise and the other sounds that are within the vicinity of the camera. So I had this seal hanging around the dock there, so I thought I'd get a few clips of it. It's pretty cool. And a couple times we'll have helicopters coming through. And another thing to note here, guys, moving objects. Often if the frame rates are too low, or the low quality camera, moving objects won't look right. They'll look like they're breaking up as they're going by, but yeah, they're looking pretty good here. One of the things that I'm very impressed with that the GA120 offers is the dual screens. You've got your main screen on the rear, and then you've got your secondary screen on the front. It's very easy to switch in between. You just hold down the bottom button here, and you can see it switches to the front screen. Now this is going to be great for setting up selfies, or if you're vlogging, to have this front screen activated. And you can actually see all the settings that were on the rear. I'm in video mode, 1080, 60 frames per second, electronic stabilization is enabled, my battery level, the amount of time remaining in video mode. It also shows if I have audio activated or not, and Wi-Fi activated. All the same settings that were shown on the back are shown on the front as well. That is great. And actually, while we're out of here, guys, you can see right there kind of on the front screen that the camera that I'm actually filming with here is the GA420 from Wolfang. You'll be seeing that on the channel very soon. I figured I'd bring it out and use it for the bench review of the GA120 here today. So keep an eye out for the 420. You'll see that shortly on the channel. So switching back here, guys. There we go. And just that. So another thing I tried out here with the GA120 was I did try out the time-lapse video. And we got that video of the sun setting. I had a couple ships coming through the river. I just set it up in my hotel room while I was out for dinner. And very impressed. The time-lapse worked out quite well. One thing that really set itself apart that I liked the most about the GA120 was the quality of the photos it took. The settings I used were just everything factory settings for exposure and sharpness and all that. I left that all as automatic. I did use 20 megapixels, the highest quality offered with this camera. And you're seeing the pictures look good. And actually, what really surprised me is I had quite a few pictures with the sun in frame. And that's something I typically try to stay away from, is having the sun directly in the frame, because you're often going to get an overexposed picture that's unusable, or the sun's just going to be a black dot in the sky, which looks strange. But you're seeing here, it actually works out pretty good with the sun in frame. And the other thing that I was testing out was taking pictures of moving objects. So these birds were all flying around me, these seagulls, and I was just pointing and shooting, taking quick shots of them. And it actually turned out pretty good. Often these cameras, the cheaper ones at least, will have a slower shutter speed and not able to capture a nice, clean, crisp image of a moving object. But you can clearly see here, I'm just taking pictures of these birds while they're flying by, and the pictures are turning out quite nice. So the quality of the photos, GA120, top notch. Very impressed. All right, guys, we're going to get ready to wrap this one up now with the Wolfang GA120. Thanks again to Wolfang for sending this one out for me to share with you guys here today. For a sub $60 action camera, this one definitely has a lot to offer. I'll leave links down below in the description if you want to get some more info or even grab one for yourself. Check them out there, and we'll see you on the next one. See ya.